now, the most reasonable talk show host from Sop Choppy to the Redneck Riviera, here is Bob Kerrigan.
Well, good evening and welcome to Within Reason. Thank you again for your calls, comments, emails, and other messages you send us suggesting that we read this, that, or the other thing, which we take to heart. The lead story tonight, and the one that is most heartening to lawyers in this country and to people who care about the Constitution in this country, and for people who are disgusted and have been disgusted with President Bush's unilateral incarceration of individuals without ever accounting to them, to their families, or to the public on what conceivable basis he has incarcerated them and held them in prison, in some cases 6 to 7 years. So a judge told the United States Department of Justice, which according to the marching orders given to them, trying to delay, obfuscate, confuse, and delay any full-scale public disclosed hearing on why these people are being incarcerated and held without an opportunity to respond to any charges. As you know, the United States Supreme Court declared that they had a right to be brought before a federal judge. We are a nation of laws. This is not frigging Texas, where there are no laws that the Bush and Walkers don't support. This is the United States of America. And the president is not used to laws, nor is the Bush family used to laws that control their conduct. 750 signing statements by the President of the United States saying, in essence, he does not have to be bound by the law if he doesn't want to, based on his expansive view of so-called executive power. It's all coming to a halt. And I predict after he leaves and goes back shooting some hoops and drinking a few beers in Crawford, that the country will find endless transgressions. This FISA immunity provision for the telecoms was designed to provide immunity for these telephone companies, telecoms, to disclose the spying that they've done on American citizens without any basis whatsoever, just combing through their phone calls, their mails, their messages. And the person that directed that is the President of the United States, who would have criminal liability if it was discovered. And as the senator who knows the most about this said on the floor of the United States Senate, we're going to get to this full story in a minute, this all started going on long before 9/11. Long before 9/11, Bush and Cheney, and at that time Ashcroft, decided that what they really needed to do to protect you was to kind of watch out for what you're saying and who you're communicating with and your bank records and everything else, before 9/11 ever occurred. The truth is, if you have evidence that people have done something wrong in the United States of America, they should be prosecuted before an independent judge. It's sort of basic around here. That's what we do. It's not what the Bush administration wants done, but that's what we do. The sooner President Bush goes back to Crawford, the better the country is going to be, despite the protestations of our support for our leader by such buffoons as Rush Limbaugh. Now, I have a picture here from the New York Magazine. This is the Sunday magazine, if we can get a picture of that. This is old Rushbo, or Rushmo, or Rushto, or whatever the Rush is. And you can see him there. I'm going to talk a little bit about this article, which was okay. It was far from the depth that I would have expected in the New York Times Magazine by this particular author, and kind of a soft shoe deal for Rush, because it failed to discuss his chronic drug addiction and some of the other things that he has experienced in his life. Mentioned one or two failures, of which he's had certainly more than one or two. But here, this picture, in your face with a cigar, is the image that he wants. He wants an image that smoking is really cool by the big guys, by the big white Republican businessmen, where they sit around, they smoke cigars, they make deals to take your money, while the president rolls up his sleeves and you applaud it while he gives money to his contractor thieves. Who's fooling who? Rich white guys, okay? Not that it's bad, okay? You know, hey, you know, there's some rich white guys that are okay. This guy, he ain't okay. Now, let me show you another picture of him. I get this article here. And then I'm going to talk about the article. In your face, okay? Real big shot. Can smoke. Smoking's not going to bother him. He's a tough guy. When I was in Cuba, Castro gave me a box of cigars, and he said, give these to somebody you like or somebody you don't like, although he said it in Spanish. All right? Here's old Rush Toe right here. You can see this picture. He's blowing smoke. I think that really is the best pictorial representation of his monologue material. Okay? Blowing smoke, a big smoke ring. Isn't he a tough guy? Big, tough guy. Boy, he's a real... You know, that's why Bush likes him. A real Texas guy. Guy kind of you can sit down and have a beer with. Guy's really, you know, he's on top of everything. Spewing simplistic solutions to complicated matters that involve the integrity and future of this country by embedding a kind of simplistic right and wrong, and he's right. And the straw man that he destroys in his arguments are the weak-kneed, crybaby, no good, unpatriotic liberals that he can't actually define. But here he said something that I've said for years. He's never admitted this before in print. I think it was a slip. I think if he could take this back, he would fight to get it back. But here's what he said, in quotes, if the author got it right. I consider myself a defender of corporate America. Corporate America. So we have this fight in this country, and it's a healthy fight between people like me that oppose amassing unlimited corporate power and influence, and people like Rush Limbaugh who support amassing corporate power. That's the fight in this country. That's the real fight. Now, what he's been successful doing is branding this pro-corporate line as conservative talk. So that if you're a conservative, you somehow support this corporate line. Here's another thing. He loves taxing the poor. I mean, he loves the most regressive tax that you could ever dream of, as long as it punishes working people. That's what he wants to do. He wants to punish working people. And here's how he wants to do it. He wants to do it with a flat tax. The idea that you can accumulate massive wealth, stick it in the bank and not pay any taxes on it ever, is a dream come true for Republican businessmen. That's advocated by Rush. He wants to give parents school vouchers to break the monopoly of public education. He's an idiot. Public education is the heart and soul of this country, and it allows the poor and the working poor to have a chance, and their kids to have a chance. And then they want to open the continental shelf to drilling. How smart is that, of course, and Alaska and more, all designed to enhance corporate wealth. We're going to solve the problem here. No. The oil guys meet with Cheney privately, design the energy policy of this country, and say to hell with it, because we're making a lot of money. All right, we'll be back next week. Within Reason, rebroadcast on Friday night at 10 and on Monday night at 10. Till next week, see you then.